Hey guys! Today we're going to talk about the most commonly talked about thing in the gaming community today, the Nintendo Switch. So last night Nintendo had their press conference talking about everything on the Nintendo Switch, when the release date was, what games were going to come out, what they're working on. Price is $2.99 for release, which isn't too bad because the other systems, they usually start out at like $4.99, $5.99, and I think usually Nintendo consoles start out around that price anyway. So I'm not really surprised about it, but there is no reason to complain either. They did announce that they are going to do paid online service, which is kind of concerning because we haven't really seen much of an online service from them so far. I just think they should probably test it out with their customers first, and then go from there. If we like it, then go ahead and charge us for it, but we have no idea what it's going to be like. I think the first couple months it's going to be free, so anyone who gets it at launch will be able to see what it's like at first, but I don't think I'm going to pay for a subscription service. I actually don't on my PlayStation or Xbox right now. I'm not really big into multiplayer, to be honest, anyway, but some games like Mario Kart and like Super Smash Brothers and stuff, I mean, they get kind of old playing by yourself for a while, so I may have to look into it. They didn't really talk about specs too much. We do know that the console, when it launches, is going to be 32 gigabytes of storage, which they also have a micro SD card slot, and all the games are now going to be on cartridges. They're probably about this big. They're shaped a little bit differently than the 3DS cartridges, but I'm pretty excited about it because we haven't had cartridges in a long time on a home system. Now, the first two games that they announced, really, I wasn't interested in them at all. I actually wasn't interested in watching this conference until I saw a lot of people talking about it, and so like after it had already happened, I decided I was going to go ahead and just give in and watch it. But they announced 1-2 switch, where you face your opponent and you kind of like draw your remote, and then it goes 1, 2, and then you just kind of like two cowboys dueling, I guess. But you don't look at the screen, so I don't really see the point in it. They also showed off the controls and the controller. It's supposed to have HD Rumble, which is a new thing. They demoed like a guy, and they showed like a glass of water. Apparently you can feel the ice cubes drop into the glass, and you can feel the glass being filled with water. I don't know that we really need that, especially since they're not doing any VR as far as we know. With VR it would be cool, you know, but I don't think it's necessary, but still, it may be a cool thing. They are doing motion controls too, which kind of concerns me. I hope they don't focus on it as much as they did with the Wii, because that was probably the worst part about the Wii, besides the terrible third-party games that they had, the really childish and goofy ones. I'm hoping that this is going to be a lot better than the Wii. I haven't liked a Nintendo system since the GameCube, to be honest. Second game they announced was a game called ARMS, which I guess is a new IP, but it's like a fighting game, but your characters have these long arms, which with the controls you can punch. Also, depending on how you turn your hand, which I guess they're really sensitive to how you've got like your wrist turned and everything, which is cool if it's actually pretty accurate, which it's supposed to be, but we'll see. But it seemed like a game that would be pretty repetitive and get really boring fast. I know they said that as you progress, you get new skills, new moves, but I don't know. I don't really see a point in it. I'm not sold on it. They also announced Splatoon 2, and they showed a clip of Bomberman. I know it was shown on the internet afterwards, so which we haven't had a Bomberman game in a while, I don't think. So that's pretty cool. They also talked about their third party. They had Skyrim got confirmed on the Switch, which I've got Skyrim on pretty much every other console. Why do I need it on the Switch? So I can take it on the go. I mean, usually when I'm on the go, I'm driving, so I really don't need a reason to get it, I don't think. Which, I mean, it looked cool, but I don't need Skyrim on another system. They also showed off some RPG titles. We've got Shin Megami Tensei, Dragon Quest 10 and 11. They also announced Dragon Quest 1 and 2 was going to be re-released on the Nintendo Switch, which is pretty awesome because I've always wanted to play the Dragon Quest games, but I've never played them before. So this will give me a chance to. Also, they announced Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which I haven't played the first one. I know it's on clearance at GameStop right now, but since I just pre-ordered the Nintendo Switch and I've got other pre-orders right now, I just don't really have the money to spend for it. But eventually I will get it, hopefully before it starts to go back up. Let's see, what else Fire Emblem Warriors, I think. Which, Fire Emblem games, they usually go up in price quite a bit. So I may have to wait. I may have to get that like right when it first comes out. But I've never played any Fire Emblem games. I just heard really good things. Then we had Super Mario Odyssey, which looks amazing. I'm not really that huge of a Mario fan like a lot of people are. Sometimes I think it's a little bit overrated. I know it's like one of the first big games, especially for Nintendo, but I'm not really into the side scrollers, to be honest. But this one looks more like Mario 64 and Super Mario Sunshine, which Super Mario Sunshine is one of my favorite games of all time. So I'm pretty excited. It's set in New York City, which is pretty cool. You can also jump onto cars and incoming traffic. You can jump back and forth between buildings. It looks really neat. And I needed another game, another reason to get the Switch besides Breath of the Wild, because I already have a Wii U, which I just got a year ago, not knowing that the Switch was going to come out a year later, so kind of sucks, but what can you do? And then they finally showed a trailer for Breath of the Wild. I saw every trailer, all the gameplay, and everything through E3. And to be honest, I wasn't as impressed as everybody else seemed to be. Until this trailer, I actually kind of, not going to lie, I did cry. Just a lot of nostalgia from some of the previous games, like Ocarina of Time. They also showed the Great Deku Tree, which is amazing. I mean, we haven't seen him in a while. At least not that I remember. And we also got the Zoras. And for the first time ever, all the characters have voice acting, which a Legend of Zelda game has never had voice acting before. So this could be a good thing and it could be a bad thing. The preview that we saw was in Japanese, so not sure how the American version is going to sound, or the English version. But I'm pretty excited for it. I did pre-order that, and I pre-ordered a Legend of Zelda carrying case too. It was like $19.99. I have no idea what it looks like, but it's Legend of Zelda, and since the Switch is going to be portable, I might as well get a carrying case. Let's see. Other than that, they didn't really show much else. Maybe some things, but not anything worth mentioning, to me at least. The battery life for the tablet is 2 to 6 hours, depending on which game you're playing. I think they said Zelda would be about 3. I guess that's a little average, but I mean, like a tablet's going to have usually about 8 hours at least. It really just depends on what you do, but I don't know. You can get like portable chargers, so that's okay. Honestly, I'm not going to take the Nintendo Switch with me anywhere at the beginning because I don't want to get jumped. I just have a feeling that that's going to happen to a lot of people, just because I called them this afternoon. I called GameStop to see how many pre-orders they had left, and they only had a few. So I ran over there, and they only had maybe 3 or 4 left. And there was a guy right after me who pre-ordered too. And I live 40 minutes away, so I got really lucky. But they are selling out quick. They just came up for pre-order today. And there are also people who are scalping them and already trying to sell their pre-orders online for like $500. So that's a concern because it's not going to be available, I feel like, for anybody who hasn't pre-ordered for at least a little while. And if that's the case, it's going to be high theft. Easy for people to steal it from you. So be cautious when they do first come out. Also, they didn't really announce any launch titles besides 1-2 Switch and Breath of the Wild. Mario Odyssey isn't coming out until like I think fall or holiday season, which kind of sucks. It would have been really nice if they had it available at launch, but I don't like to rush games, especially if they're going to take their time and make it perfect, which is also another concern. I think Legend of Zelda may have been made a little too quickly, especially since it's open world. I hope it's as good as it looks. I hope it's finished by the time that they release it, which is March 3rd, for those of you who don't know. Now, what I'd like to see another Star Fox game that was like Star Fox Adventures, because that was one of my favorite games. I know a lot of people didn't like it because it wasn't typical Star Fox, but I loved that game a lot. I think it's time for another Metroid game. They also need some new IPs. Pretty much the latest one they've done was Splatoon, and I really don't know of any others since. So, I mean, they really need to work on that, definitely. But I am also excited. All this third-party support it seems great. So I'm hoping that we're going to get a lot of cool exclusive games this time around. So what did you guys think about the Nintendo Switch? And what games would you like to see either mentioned at E3 or just eventually? Well, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys later.